Hello, good day to all my fellow travelers, photographers, and friends around the world. Chris Lee here. It will be another beautiful week, and it also will be another very exciting travelogue of mine, bringing you to a new nation, and this nation is known as Japan, and it is a East Asian nations. And Japan, all this while, will give people the impression. We mentioned about Japan, your impression is ultra modern, particularly when we're talking about Tokyo. And today, I'm going to bring you to this interesting, beautiful city of the world. Now, first of all, I would like to bring you to Tokyo. Tokyo is located in the central region of Japan, and the region they call it Kwanto region. And of course, the location of the whereabouts of Japan can be easily seen on this map. It's the easternmost of the Asian continent. And the Kwantung region is the area where it is circled. And of course, in Kwantung regions, they have quite a number of prefectures. And just a brief guideline for those who are interested to follow me for all the 7 episodes of my travel journey to Japan. We are going to cover 2 episodes on the Tokyo City, where today will be basically the day tour, and the next week will be on the night tour, showing all the night scape and night scenery of Tokyo City. Then we are also going to visit the 2 of the famous lake that is called Lake Kawaguchi and Lake Ashi, which is nearby to Mount Fuji. Right? And then on top of that, we are going to visit another very important, beautiful city called Yokohama City. Then after that, we move it to a countryside where known as Shiba prefectures to experience ourselves with the autumn scenery of countryside of Tokyo. And let's begin our tour to this Tokyo City. First and foremost, when we talk about Kwantung region, as just now I shared with you on the map, it's just basically a geographical area of Honshu Island, the largest island in Japan. In a common definition, the region includes the greater Tokyo area, and then also encompass some others prefectures, including the Ganma, the Tochigi, then the Ibaraki, Saitama, and then Chiba, as well as Kanagawa prefectures. So, Tokyo City. Now, Tokyo has been the capital city of Japan since the 1869. Tokyo is ranked as the most populous metropolitans in the world, with a population of around 12 million as 2018. It's not the latest. And Tokyo urban landscapes consist mainly of modern and contemporary architectures, as most of the old buildings were destroyed during the Second World War. Today, Tokyo is a very colorful and vibrant city, particularly at night, which I will be sharing with you in the next episode. Now, beside this modern office building tower, Tokyo also renowned for its 2 distinctive towers, the Tokyo Tower and the newest one, the Tokyo Sky Tree, which was built with observatory decks or observation deck, whichever you like to call it, which was opened in the year 2012, right? And is the tallest in Japan and possibly in the world too. Now, in Japan, at the end of the autumn season and with major festivals are coming around the corner at year end, almost all major cities in Japan will be well decorated and light up brightly during the night. So therefore, the best time to enjoy beautiful cityscape of Tokyo will be near the year end. So let's look at the map of Tokyo metropolitans. You can see that it's rolling, you can see how dense the road work that all converts to the Tokyo city from this map. And as I said, that Tokyo itself is considered quite a large area, and with the 12 million populations, and therefore for each administrations, so they have divided Tokyo into smaller administrative districts, and they call it wards. And altogether, they are all 23 wards, and of which 5 of them are classified as the heart of center Tokyo, that mean color in yellow, as can be seen in this map. So, a well-developed, mature city, of course, will have a well-in-place infrastructures. This including the underground stations, so the metro station, as well as the above-ground transport system, and roadwork and railroad connections. So there are quite a lot of interesting places to visit, even within the Tokyo city itself. So this is just some of the tourist map illustrating the place of interest that can be found around Tokyo region. Now, of course, the first interesting place that I'm going to share with you will be this Shinnō-jin Shrine or temple. And it is also well known as Asakusa Kannon Temple. It's an ancient Buddhist temple located in Asakusa district of Tokyo. It's Tokyo's oldest temple and also one of the most significant temple in Japan. Now, this temple is the most widely visited spiritual site in the world, with over 30 million of visitors annually. That was recorded during a pre-pandemic era. Now, it is unsurprised to note that this temple or shrine is crowded the whole year round with visitors and worshippers from around Tokyo or Japan, and as well all over the world. Now, the location of this temple is in the ward called Taito Ward, right? As with the star highlighted in this map. And this is actually the tourist map of Shinnō-jin Shrine. And you can notice that I only just labeled 6 of them, 1 to 6, and of which itself we're going to share with you as we move around. We're going to share with you from an image of how this is look like. Now, to begin with, actually, the entry to this temple, you are started with number 1, which actually the Kaminarimon Gate, right? It's the first gate that linking you to the next gate, number 2, which actually number 4 is called Hozomon Gate. Between these 2 gates, actually is actually a shopping street, and this shopping street is named as the Nakami's Dori. Dori actually in Japanese means street, right? So this street is actually where you can do your shopping. And after crossing the gate number 2, basically is the Hozomon Gate, then you will then face to face with the main temple building, the Asakusa Shrine, which is number 5. Then at the back of the Asakusa Shrine, there's another temple, which I've not labeled them, but then you will also find a 5-story pagoda, which is labeled as number 3, and also there's a side entrance gate, number 6, called Nitenmon Gate. So basically, this is where the place of interest, the interesting building that we're going to visit during today to this temple. So this will be the first gate, right? And some people like to refer it as a Thunder Gate. So this picture was taken during the early morning, and you can see that the street is still very few visitor or pedestrian, because it's about 7 a.m. in the morning. We are going out to looking for breakfast. as we stay nearby. And this is the image taken after we have taken our breakfast and coming over to visit this temple. It's about, I think about 9 o'clock onwards. You can see that it's a sub-packed with tourists. This is a scene around the street. Now, one of the very iconic signs of this temple is gigantic red lanterns, right? And in this lantern, you can see the red lantern. They have actually written words, 2 words. Now, it's actually in Japanese, but also it's quite similar to the Chinese language, and it will translate to Thunder Gate, 雷门, if you read it in Mandarin. These are the closer view of this gate. And this at the back of this gate, we look back, after enter, then we take a shot of the back, the rear of this gates. And interestingly, we found this notice which highlighted they actually have another fair. They claim it to be the last fair in the year, which will last from 17 to 19, 3 days fair in December months. And this is actually the Nakami's Doris the Strait that I mentioned just now, linking the gate number 1 to gate number 2. And in this strait, actually, they house about 70 shops that selling traditional, authentic Japanese product and snack. And then there are also straits that run parallel and perpendicular to this Nakami's Doris Strait, and they have been named Shin Nakamis. Now, these straits are fully covered shopping street, which I will share you later on with the images. So as you are walking close to the gate number 2, and you can see that this gate number 2 is a much bigger gate, which is 2-story high. And in this gate number 2, you notice that there hang 3 lanterns, still a very gigantic red lantern at the center, and they have 2 smallest goldish lanterns, a pair of it, on both sides. And when you look up, when you walk past or walk under the lanterns, this is actually how you look like in the for the red lantern. A much closer view, a very intricate carving of I think there's a dragon's carving in it. Then this is actually the goldish lantern at both sides of this gate number 2. And when walk past, you look back. The rear view of this gate number 2 is how we look like. Then you found that there is a pair of gigantic slipper or shoe in the form of shoe, the worn by the traditional Japanese, and during the ancient time on both sides of this gate number 2, mounted on the wall. Then after passing the gate number 2, what come to view is basically the Asakusa Shrine, or the main temple. And of course, as is a tradition, the worshipper will normally come to this purification trough to wash the hand and clean their mouth before they enter to the main temple building. This is just a side view, overview of this main temple building. You can see the crowd, it's very packed during our visit. And just before enter into the main entrance of the temple, again there's another huge gigantic red lanterns, and right below the red lantern there's a trough, and I was referred it as a wishing trough, where the worshipper would then donate or throw coin into it and then make a wish. You can be seen in this image and the next two images. And this is a view of the internal view or inner view of the main temple building. At the side of it, and if you stood above at the entrance there, near to the wishing trough there, you look out. This is what you're going to view. You can see that the second gate is at the far end. This look out from the main temple to the second gate. And when we enter to the prayer hall or the main temple building, this is the interior, the look of the interior of this temple building. Wooden structures, temple buildings. And this is actually the ironmongeries on the doorway, and this is the base decoration at the base of the temple columns. This is a side elevation of this temple building. There's actually a side entrance. The visitor are recommended to exit from this side entrance. Some of the external facade design and decorations. There are also some other interesting items displays around the main temple building. And over here, this group of people are trying to find out their fate. So they will then randomly pick from those slip of paper that have written the fate of them. Randomly pick from this drawer. There are many drawers there, you can see. And after that, they will then read from the slip of papers they draw from the drawer, and they will tell them of their fate, either good, bad, or just average. And nearby is where the 5-story pagoda. And some more ancillary buildings nearby. If you're lucky, you may meet some pretty ladies dressing in their traditional Japanese attire or costume. And happen to be this area is very popular spot. They have a lot of fun fair that taking place, and therefore during our visit itself there's another fair ongoing. And also we found this monkey show just nearby next to the main temple. And when we return to this temple at night, because we stay nearby, and this is how it look like, you know, a beautifully light up both the main temple building. This is actually the second gate, as well as you can see the 5-story pagoda. Now let's talk about this Nakamizu-dori, the main street that linking, the leading you to the this temple. And you can see on both sides there are actually housed empty shop. As I mentioned earlier, this shop selling all kind of local authentic products and snacks. I believe that you can find almost near to 80% of the authentic Japanese products from all Japan are on sale in these regions. Just imagine 30 million visitors visited annually. You can also find a lot of handicraft and gift and souvenir. And this is a street I mentioned just now, the new Shin Nakamizu, the street perpendicular to this shopping street. And they are covered street, and therefore it's suit for all time visit, you know, and shopping all day round without affected by weathers. And here you can find some authentic Japanese samurai swords and knife. Japanese are very famous in producing knife. There is a night scenes during the night when we revisit this temple. And during the day, in one of the day, we spotted these 3 electrical cart was on the roads, and we were surprised to see that Japan allowed this cart to be on the road. Then we are going to bring you to this beautiful Japanese gardens, and this garden is called Kaisugawa Korakum, right? And in the Bunku ward of Tokyo. We will skip this. There's an error on this. I will play it back later on. But anyway, sorry that this is just a time-lapse video of the famous busy crossing in Tokyo, which actually I think we misplaced. I will replay it at the end of this travel up. So we are moving on. Now we are moving to this Bunko ward as seen in the star marked on this ward. And this is a place where it locates this beautiful Japanese garden. And this is actually the layout plan of the ward, of this garden. And you can see that right below the corner at the bottom, right bottom corner, there's a square type of structure, shape, right? And that is basically they call it the Tokyo Dome. It's actually the indoor stadium. So this garden, it was just side by side next to the indoor stadium of Tokyo called Tokyo Dome. And this is actually the layout plan of this Japanese garden. You found that there are quite a number of lakes can be found inside. And before we move on further with the image, let's have an understanding of these gardens. Now, this Koskawa Korakom is one of the Tokyo oldest and the so-called the best Japanese gardens. It is located at the Koskawa district of Bunko ward in Tokyo City. Now, the garden founded in the 1600 years, that means in the early 17th century, and construction only completed around 1682. That means took about nearly 82 years. Now, like most traditional Japanese gardens, now this Korakom attempt to reproduce famous landscape in miniature using pond, stone, tree, and man-made hill to replicate both Japanese and Chinese scenery. Now, the Chinese element in these gardens was actually contributed by a refugee scholar from Ming Dynasty, right, of China, who helped in the construction of these gardens. Now, the garden originally covered a land area of 63 acres of land, but slowly was taken up and surrendered due to city expansion. And by now, the actual garden land size have reduced or shrank to 17.5 acre only, which is about 25% of the original size. Now, although the garden is suitable for visiting the whole year round, but the best time to visit or the period to visit is still in the autumn season. That's from the month of November till early December, when the maple trees in these gardens, right, turn vibrant shade of yellow or red, which I'm going to share with you in all of my subsequent images. So you can see that right at the entrance we already have these beautiful gardens. The tree that already turned red with the leaf. So you can see that all these lakes are all mainly man-made lake with a man-made hill. You can see tree leaf start turning bright red in colors, a contrast color between red and green. As you move from the bigger lake to the smaller lakes, this is where we saw more interesting scene. And in certain part of this garden is quite shady. You notice I've been attempting to take all these images, even though sometimes in the same spot in different angle. Hope to give the viewer a different perspective. Then we move on, right, to another interesting place. It's called Tashita Dori, another street. And this street is unique in a sense that to many young people, the youngster, they would like to come to this place. Let's share a bit some of this info about this street now. Now, if you are looking for something weird and trendy, right, then this famous Takashita Street in Tokyo is best suited for you. Now, the pedestrian shopping street lined with the fashion boutiques, cave and restaurants in Harajuku district of Shibuya Ward in Tokyo. Now, this 400-meter long narrow street is extremely busy, right, during the day, particularly during the weekend, right? And once of the crowd pulling attraction in this ultra fashion street is the youngster that dress in so-called cosplay costume. Now, if you are lucky enough, right, during your visit, you could meet some of them, and we are lucky to have met two of them. And you can ask them the permission to take photo with them, but not necessarily they will allow you to take picture. But mostly are very friendly and welcome us taking that picture. I will share with you more of this youngster that dressed in cosplay in my subsequent images. So the location of this ward is Shibuya is now highlighted in this map, right? With a star there. And this is actually the entrance to the street itself. You can see the crowd and the entrance arch, you know. Here you see the whole street from end to end is packed with visitors. And you can see here, right? You can see that the these are all the highly fashion shop, right? And here, at this place that we met these two youngsters that with a cosplay costume. The first one, the right in front of us one, is more shy, and when we try to take his picture, I believe it's a man, and he seemed to be cover his face. Well, the second one is easygoing and friendly, and therefore we took quite a lot of his picture. And you can see that one of my tour mates managed to have a selfie picture with him, sorry. And be careful when you come here, you can get two types of off. One is actually a discount, you get 50% off. But you are not careful, particularly for photographer like us, we can get fuck off because they don't welcome us taking picture of the shop, of their displays. And probably you are landed in this manner, you have a skull dented in because of a heavy knock, but of course just joking. And of course do not leave without trying out some of the very famous local desserts, or you could call it delight. A lot of flavors of choice to pick, and of course this is my pick of the day, and one of my tour mates was enjoying his pick, and this is actually the other end of the strait, the end of the 40-meter long strait. Now here is where just now I'm trying to share with you about this famous crossing. Now, in Tokyo, with the populations of close to 12 million, and you can imagine the amount of people that commute during the working days. And there are some of these stations are very, very busy stations. And when they are interlinked, you can see the crowd are trying to cross over from one station to the other station. And in this particular Shinjuku or ward area, now it is actually a major commercial and administrative center of these Tokyo regions. Now we house the northern half of the busiest railway station in the world, right? The Shinjuku Station, and also the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, and also the Metro Building. So because of that, in one of the street here crossing there, it was so packed during the day. In every second you can see the crowd build up. So I managed to capture, with some of you have already seen it earlier, the preview of a time lapse taken on this crossing. These are only 2 rounds, but actually each round lasts about, I think, few minutes, but it's very short, but then I managed to time lapse it. Let's enjoy again the see how this busy, world busiest crossing took place during the big days. And I believe the time we visit this place about noon time, so we can see the crowd. So we are now in this Shinjuku district, I'm a ward, sorry, and you can see that the star was there placed on it. And of course this is the metro station, underground metro station, and there's well link, and the best way to visit them is take on the green line, green road that is a loop, right? So now let's have a preview, a view of this crossing again in time lapse. And I was told that the crossing, each time the crossing involving about 3,000 people, right, at the peak, right? So that view again, and you can see the crowd, the build up, right, at both sides so fast, and then they're waiting for the green light to cross. Then they cross it, and suddenly they had to wait again. Then the crowd build up again, very, very fast. And this go on and go on for hours during the peak hours. And of course, beside this station, you can find this dog statue. And I was told this was actually one of my very interesting story of a faithful dog. They call it Akita dog. And the name of this dog is called Hachiko. And what is happening, this Hachiko, his owner was passed away at work, and of course did not come back one of the day. And this dog was because this dog always welcome her owner back home at this station. And so when the owner passed away, the dog constantly for next 9 years coming to this station, waiting to hope to see his owner. And finally the dog passed away 9 years later. And because of this faithful dog, the people built a dog statue here to tell the story of how dog can be so faithful to human being. And of course, around we also do shopping, and we come to this shopping mall with a very unique entrance facade, and actually make up of many pieces of mirror. And when we went into this entrance, we look out. And you can this is actually the street view of Tokyo, and with all the reflection, they create a very magnificent image, which I'm using it for this travelogue cover page. And of course, in Tokyo, in the tourist spot, in the popular tourist spot, you were able to find so-called pool rickshaw, and basically in Japanese they call jinrikisha, and of course it's not cheap. I don't know how you charge, but the rickshaw people were dressed in the traditional Japanese costume, and most people will take picture with this rickshaw person, and of course you need to be their guest before they are allowed to take picture with them. And this exactly you can see on the street near to those famous tourist spots. You're bound to have found this rickshaw. And I was quite fascinating of Japanese art, and I like Japanese art in one way or another. It's very fanciful in a way, and this is some of the image I captured during this tour. So this is about the end of today travelogues. Don't worry, we have not ended with Tokyo as yet. We still have another episode, and the next episode will be basically cover all the evening and night scene, and including of fireworks displays that took place during our visit. Actually, we joined in to one of the firework festival, and I hope that in next episode will give you another perspective of Tokyo City at night. So please stay tuned. And for all my friends, if you have stayed until this hour with me, I believe that you have been entertained. Please help to subscribe, share, and promote this travel channel to your friends and family. And I hope that during this pandemic era, and you are safe and sound, and hope to see you again next week when we meet again at the same time. All right, and therefore, see you for the next 6 episodes. We are going to cover Japan all the way until end of January. And bye.